Hi, it's Friday. It's 3 o'clock. Welcome to Together Unlocked, brought to you as always by Together 2012. We're a disability arts organisation. We're based in the East London borough of Newham, which was the main Paralympic host borough for London 2012. I'm Ju Gosling, also known as the artist Ju90. I'm artistic director of Together 2012. With me in my East London studio, as she's been locked in here since March, is our chair, the artist and documenter, Julie Newman. It's Friday, so for our regular feature, we're dressed up to go out to stay in. In a minute, we'll come back to East London. We'll give you some audio description and we'll tell you what we're dressed up to go out to stay in to do. But first, we're going to go to the other end of our long-wheeled sofa in the West Midlands for some introductions, some audio description, and to find out what the guys are dressed up to go out to stay in for.
Well, hi, good afternoon, and welcome to Friday from the West Midlands. I am Robin Surgeon. I keep disappearing slightly off the screen, and I'm not sure why. I think there must be a slope in the office. Um, uh, yeah, I'm up here. I am business director at Together 2012, and I'm also an artist, performing and writing as Angry Fish. Today I am sporting blue eyes, silvery white hair, I think is the best description. Um, no framed black armed glasses. Lovely complexion, pale but healthy today. And I am wearing, ready to go out for the weekend. I'm wearing a grey t-shirt, and I'm going to move across just so you can see it quickly. There you go. So I'm aware it's a grey t-shirt with a picture of Leonardo da Vinci's Vitruvian Man, which is a picture that represents all meant to represent kind of uh, body of man, like the sizes and everything. It's all like in relation for those of you who are
The golden ratio.
learning to draw. But it's kind of also got Frank Zappa's head and Frank Zappa's guitar. Frank Zappa being um, a very famous rock guitarist from the 70s. And I'm wearing this because I'm going to go on an archaeological dig to look at what man really looked like in the past. But I'm going to go and check out the real picture of the Vitruvian Man in Venice on the way. So I've got a very busy evening.
And do you have a way of telling us how you're going to do that virtually under our Something for the Weekend feature later?
No.
Preparation is a wonderful thing. Let's move swiftly on to Josh.
You're going to the very advanced version of Google Street View, yeah, with inbuilt virtual archaeology. Hi, I'm Josh Surgeonator. I'm also one of the hosts of Together Unlocked, and I am a PhD student, and I'm slowly being whittled away to rethink, retrain, and reprogram into an artist. So,
We like fool them with cyber and then recruit.
today, I am wearing a green t-shirt that has in kind of gold, kind of geometric lines, the face of two lions looking at each other, and then a smaller version of that logo in the middle that says London Raw. And I'm also wearing a green, white, and gold bobble hat that also has the London Raw logo on it, and a very, very large bubble on the top. So if I turn around too quickly and fall over, that's why. It's just the weight of the hat has taken me with it. And I am wearing that because today is the start of season 2 of the International Swimming League in Budapest, and London Raw is one of the teams. So I am fully kitted out, full kit to support that and watch some live sport.
And I probably should add to the audio description for anybody who needs it that it's a very, if you're feeling a little bit down today, it's a very cheering sight to see Josh dressed up like a garden gnome. Sorry, Josh, I can't believe that there's actually yeah, swimming pools full of hundreds of you wearing things like this, particularly in all of that warm, moist atmosphere. But moving swiftly on, Julie, who are you? What do you look like? And what are you dressed up to go out to stay in to do?
I'm Julie Newman. I'm the chair of Together 2012. Uh, Today I'm wearing a greyish, greenish, grey hat with a brim, a baseball cap. I still have my dark rim glasses, and underneath my cap is silver and gold hair peeping out. I'm wearing a red t shirt which says in big letters across the top, written in yellow, garage. And there's a round sort of motif in the middle, and it's got a picture of a special outer space type aircraft. And I can't read everything that it says, Ju.
It says Farnsworth Garage, dark matter engines. Good news, everyone, shifting the entire universe. These are the people we need to get in to supply PPE for the winter.
I'm going off to I'm going off to Washington State, where I'm going to hang out with the good old boys, and I'm going to drink some whiskey and wine, and I'm going to be looking for UFOs. Apparently, Washington State has had an influx of UFOs this year, as indeed has California, and I can't help but wonder if they're attracted by the wildfires. Sadly,
I think
but
it's aliens leaving, but
Yes, well, I was going to. I had already said off camera that you looked a bit like a Trump supporter, so you're joining the crazy uncles to look for sci-fi.
no, a UFO is a UFO. I'm sorry, it's what it means is unidentified flying object. And there are many of them which are spotted every year in the States, particularly. And at the moment, there is an awful lot of them, over thousands actually, about 2 or 3 thousand in Washington State alone this year.
Well, I suppose if you expand it to include satellites, drones, meteors, and everything else, yes, that is true. But I still like the idea of the dark matter garage dealing with the PPE supplies. So that just leaves me. I have a moth-eaten, self-inflicted corona crop. Needing hennering, but I don't think the cameras are quite that good. But most of it is henna red. Some of it is grey and white. I've got black plastic glasses. I've got silver coloured jewellery. I have a necklace on which is made of a purple gemstone. It's in the shape of a whale's tail. And I have I'm not quite sure what to call it. It's not exactly khaki green, but a soft mossy green t-shirt with a bright green fluorescent round logo on the front with the figure in quite stylized print of a woman holding a surfboard.
It's brown.
It's not brown.
It is
It looks
brown.
khaki from here. Fight. Come on.
No. We're all about peace and love. I think it matches my eyes, which are most definitely green. But leaving that for when we come off air later, because goodness knows we've got the whole winter to decide what colour a t-shirt is. I'm dressed up to go out to stay in to watch a film on Netflix called Beautiful Wave, which I started watching last night. We had a conversation on the show a few weeks ago about us all having a little light at the end of the tunnel. And I said my light at the end of the tunnel was taking my bodyboard down and putting it in the water and getting in with it on the Essex coast when that was safe, but eventually going back to Pembrokeshire. From as of today, we're officially banned, all of us, from the West Midlands and London as tier 2. So I couldn't go to Pembrokeshire even if I wanted to. But this comes from Marsyme's Surf Hut, which is a very long lasting, and I hope it's still there, surf shop in St David's in Pembrokeshire. It's just up the road from one of my favourite beaches, White Sands. So as I can't do my light at the end of the tunnel yet, I'm going to watch a film and pretend I was there instead.
I guess my UFOs are my lights, aren't they? They're sort of the lights in the sky.
Yes, when coronavirus is over, we'll all go and watch the UFOs. But lockdown isn't affecting us at all.
So you're going to be watching a surfing film.
Yes.
Oh, it is a surfing film, right?
It isn't a surfing film. It's called Beautiful Wave. And I could start rehashing the plot, but for everybody who would just be bored stiff, I'm going to say we have a feature later in the show, regularly on Friday, something for the weekend. So I will put the link up. We have a highlights and links page under our main Together Unlocked TV page on our website, which is www.together2012.org.uk. For anyone who's watching on YouTube, I'm going to pop this up at the bottom of the screen in a minute. But yes, it's a Netflix film, probably available on other platforms, and I'll put the link in to highlights and links. Are you going to put in alien links?
Yeah, I can do. But I was just thinking, Beautiful Wave is one of the famous ones, isn't it, about surfing, or is that different?
It doesn't strike me as being one that I've heard of before, and it's
Okay.
quite recent, so I suspect not. But they're all famous to surfers.
For sure, yes.
I like the one. I can't. What's the one when it's actually a robbery?
Point Break.
Yeah, Point Break. But the original Point Break.
The original Point Break is definitely one of my favourite films. But like I say, we should probably move on for everybody else who isn't really into surfing. Robin, of course, is our in-house Paralympian swimmer and is also an elite swimming coach. Josh still coaches. Julie and I sail if we get the opportunity. And
Yeah.
And indeed, I actually spent 9 months as artist in residence with Surfers Against Sewage in Cornwall when I was writing up my PhD. But like I say, those were different times entirely.
Yeah.
But I did want to just say before we move on for our Black History Month celebration, where we're profiling Glory Sengo, who's a member of our associate drama company Act Up Newham, was just to have a quick chat about how the tears are affecting us. Who's in tears because of the tears?
I think I'm in tears of confusion as opposed to of anxiety, particularly at the moment. So we're in tier 2, the same as you are at the moment. There just seem to be rumours abound that we'll be tier 3, but I just think that there've been rumours that we're going to be in a circuit breaker lockdown for the 2 weeks of half term since September. So who knows?
Yes, I think the issue that's come up very strongly in the last couple of days is that although you've been under the same restrictions in the past, they weren't called tier 2, were they? This sort of new tiers system is very, very new. And that because they've got the new system, it's become, if you like, much more kind of robust, if you like, in its guidance. So the issue that has arisen today has been informal carers. They seem to have forgotten that most disabled and older people depend on friends and relatives dropping in. And that may be to get you up in the morning, to get your breakfast, or it may just be dropping off your medication and putting it into packets for you, bringing your shopping in and unpacking it, changing the beds, doing the cleaning. Millions of different care jobs. Most carers who are unpaid don't receive carers allowance because they're not eligible. They haven't had a carers assessment from the local authority. So they're literally not on any list. And yet there's no provision for them to carry on going into people's homes and no provision for them to access PPE. So that's where my tears are coming from at the moment, not just because we have so many informal social care users amongst our participants in our year-round programme in East London, but also because I'm co-chair of Regard, which is the national LGBTQI plus disabled people's organisation. 2/3 of us don't have children and 1 in 3 of us are disabled. So you do the math. There's an awful lot of people depending on informal social care. So we're going to keep trying to get answers from the authorities. We will report back. If you're somebody who's been affected by being put into tier 2 or 3, we'd love to hear from you. The information is currently at the bottom of the page, but you can email us on info@together2012.org.uk or contact us through our Facebook page or our Twitter account with a direct message. If you think you're going to be infected by the omission, because I'm sure they haven't deliberately said you can't have informal care, they just haven't thought about it. But if you're going to be affected, then please let us know. But now we'll move on to Black History Month and our very own Glory Sengo. I was thinking today about when I first met Glory, which I think must be at least 5 years ago, don't you, Julie?
Easily, yes.
And we were running our music club, which is part of our year-round outreach program. We run a clubs program. It's free to any disabled person who wants to and can access it. But of course, it's much easier to access now. It's currently online. So we'll tell you a bit more about the clubs program later. But we run an open, well, in more usual times, we run an open mic night on the first Friday. Currently, we're doing that via Zoom on the first Thursday and including poetry as well. But this was when we first had the club down in Canning Town, wasn't it? And Glory came with his mum
And his brother.
and his brother Mercy. He just left school, and just stood there and sung a song.
It was like the voice of an angel. It really, seriously, he's got a lovely voice.
Yes, I'm not sure you hear Glory singing in this short introduction, but yes, indeed, as well as acting, he does also sing. And thank you again, Hannah Facey, for producing this video.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Glory Sengo. I love dancing, and I also like singing of the Congolese music.
Oi, 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 oi! What on earth are you doing here, you strangers? Well, do you know what, ladies and gentlemen? Have you got a minute?
So I was inside the box, pretending being inside the box, so that everyone was inducing me to dance to Koffi Olomide and Franco Bakaloui. Then that's why everyone was cheering me up. Then that's why everyone thought that is a nice show. I was pretending being a clown, then that's why I was pretending wiping out the paints of my face then.
What are you doing? Cleaning up my makeup, but no one wouldn't recognize me because I'm not a clown anymore. Everyone knows that I'm not because I'm not a clown anymore because I'm going to get a proper job in the circus and get married and get a proper girlfriend and then get a job in Tesco, then buy a house in Huntington.
But some people don't care. Some people think you're just a clown.
I don't care. I don't care what you're saying because they can just spit out on the face. Not a clown face, but my face.
That is very good to act so that we can watch a video. Then that's why we saw ourselves that how we performing.
Be not afraid that the owl is full of noises. salt and sweeters, that gives delight, and hurts not. But if I then await after a long sleep, sometimes a thousand twangling instruments will hum about mine ears, and sometimes voices. And then if I then await, then it'll make me want to sleep again. After a long sleep, it'll make me sleep again. And then in dreaming,
The clouds leave roots were conquered, and show riches ready to drop upon me. And when I wait, I try to dream again.
Wow, was that the Tempest?
Yes. I
My
think
goodness. Who knew? I didn't realise they'd done Shakespeare as well.
Act Up do everything. I mean, they're a community-based training company, and for actors like Glory who find it impossible to be accepted onto formal courses, it's where they're doing all of their training. The vast majority of their work is based on their lived experience. It's a very particular kind of theatre that's, very, very kind of carefully thought out and done. But yes, they do respond to other themes as well. I'm not sure they did the whole of The Tempest at that point. I'll have to check with Hannah. But I think one of the joys of these profiles is we've had content every week from Act Up Newham right since lockdown began. But of course, what we've seen is them working on Zoom. And I think the added bonus of these profiles is all of the snippets from the different productions that they've done. And the majority of those productions remain in their repertoire. And I think that's one of the advantages of working in that way. You can have different actors coming through taking the different roles because, like I say, it is a training company, but they're able to kind of work on those shows. And when they've produced them, and there's shows that they did 15 years ago that sadly, it has to be said, are still relevant, like Changing Attitudes, where they act out different scenes twice. So they show how things could have gone differently with a different attitude. I was very saddened to see that disability hate crime and other hate crimes have actually been rising. And that was even before COVID came along. So the work has never been more important, but it's lovely to see them doing things like The Tempest and not simply doing things about lived experience, although they bring all that to it. So another of the shows that we saw an excerpt from and have in other profiles is When You See Me, which was our commission for Disability History Month 2018. When they looked at the history of the circus and everybody else was celebrating 250 years of circus times. And they really looked at how bad the circus had been for disabled people and people of colour. But again, they looked at their own experiences and then they looked at these historical experiences and they created the characters based on both, which I think is a fantastic way to work. Sorry, guys, did you want to come in?
Oh, no, it's great. I mean, it's so lovely seeing that breadth of work. And who knew Julie knew every line out of The Tempest. But I mean, it's great. And you're right, Glory, he brings his own kind of clarity. A very clear voice comes through when whatever he's doing, which is fabulous.
I think the other good thing about the artist profiles, and particularly, but not only artists with learning difficulties, is it's only when you see the show excerpts that you really get a sense of what they can do. And I mean, I know Glory when he was, because of course, in the years since he first appeared at our music club, he's travelled a very long way. But when he did that character as a clown, which was about 20 months ago now, he really took over the stage. And we actually had a heckler. So they had things at the beginning where people were calling out freaks and it was all part of the play. And then it carried on and Glory just swaggered around on the stage and managed to deal with it all and actually kind of, bring the audience together and make everybody laugh at it and sort of dismiss it and move on. And that was Circus One, so it's the biggest theatre space well, I said we have in Newham. In fact, the mayor has just turned it into a youth centre. But it's the biggest theatre that we did have in Newham outside of Theatre Royal. And even then, I suspect the capacity is probably about the same. The access was certainly better. So, yes, it's great to actually see those shows and realise that they don't just do Zoom. It's not all just about home video. But now I think it's a good time to tell you more about how you can join in from home with our club's program and indeed with other things. So I'm just going to put on a short video, and the website details again for that program, same as this, www.together2012.org.uk. Together 2012 is running a join in from home programme from our website together2012.org.uk. Click on the link at the top of the page, Join in from home, to go straight to the main page where you have a wide range of accessible, inclusive creative activities, mostly using things that you would already have at home. At the top of the page and throughout the pages, you will also see videos in British Sign Language to translate the site for deaf people. These videos can also be useful if you have difficulties reading and you simply want to hear more of the content. The Join in from Home programme is based on the activities that we would usually be running in East London. So, for example, we have an arts club which usually operates on a Tuesday with craft-based activities and on a Friday morning for drawing and painting. Here you can join in with the arts club's Hands project and celebrate your uniqueness and membership of the human race. There are full instructions on the linked page here. But essentially, we invite you to draw around your hand on a piece of card. It could be an old cereal packet. Cut the shape out, turn it over, and decorate it with anything you would like to do. It could be paints, crayons, glitter, collage, beads, leaves, anything you can think of. Photograph your hand or hands and send it to us at tv@together2012.org.uk. We'll add it to our video installation and share it on social media. Our music club usually meets on the first Friday of each month. We have an open mic session and we invite everybody to play along with percussion instruments. So here you can learn how to make your own percussion instruments from recycled materials. And you can also join in a percussion workshop from last summer in terms of Carnival Percussion. So these three instruments are used most often in Carnival. We have a shaker and a go-go and a hand drum. So this is how to make a recycled shaker, a recycled go-go, and a recycled hand drum. You can also, if you're technically minded, make your own tactile sound instrument. This does require a few simple electronics, but is a very interesting and exciting project as part of our Vibrafusion ongoing work. You can also listen with Together. We have Spotify playlists created by Robin Surgeonator, also known as our TV presenter Angry Fish, and we also have 2 classical music playlists from Bournemouth Symphony Orchestra, including one that's uniquely suited to people who are feeling very unwell. And Josh, part of our moving you away from cyber into the arts, you've continued to learn to draw, haven't you? And you've sent me a couple of pictures because it was art club morning. What we've found in the past is that we put the pictures up on screen, and to us they're all the right way up, but not when they come out from YouTube. So I'm going to put this on the screen solo because that should help. So tell me about this, Josh.
So this is a like kind of pencil sketch of a character from a TV show that I quite like. So I've drawn a couple of different characters from the same show. So I kind of sketched that out in pencil and then kind of gone over it, kind of vigorously on all the finalized lines to make it kind of a nice clear outline, and then took a photo of that and then inputted it into my computer to then get the second image.
Right, let me just pop that one up.
This one. So this was kind of my attempt at digital art, I guess, or my first attempt that didn't look completely rubbish. So I'm still kind of not fully confident on drawing on the digital side. So what I did was I took the pencil sketch that I'd done, put that into Photoshop, and then kind of traced it almost. So I kind of copied my own drawing, and then kind of colored it in.
That's incredibly effective as a method as well.
Yeah, whether it's just kind of practice, but I can't kind of connect. I'm not very good at drawing lines on the digital, kind of on the graphic side. I can do short stuff, but kind of the bigger lines that you need to draw something like that, they tend to just kind of go a bit astray and a bit wonky. I'm kind of learning tricks to be better at that, kind of as I practice. But yeah, kind of by taking that one that I've already drawn and then kind of following that outline, kind of really help me actually tweak it a little bit kind of once it's in there. But that's something I've found while I'm kind of getting that confidence with the digital side to kind of follow what I've already done.
I think all of that sounds fascinating. Sorry, Robin. And I was interested as somebody who's not got 100% fine motor control, the kind of concept that actually drawing a line digitally with the tricks and things, you can get the computer to straighten it all up for you or to curve it. I was thinking, I mean, Photoshop is an expensive package and, probably does all sorts of complicated things that not everybody wants it to do. But I have a phone app, I think probably a free one, which is a tracing app. And I think what we'll do is we'll do a little bit more research. On a Monday, we have our regular app date feature. So we'll have a more of a look at it then. But I hadn't really taken on board. I mean, I think it makes it look fantastically professional. By the time you've turned it over, you would never know that that's somebody trying to sort of experiment for the first time. But like I say, for all of us who don't have fine motor control, I think there's quite a lot of potential as well. It's autumn and it's time for another film from Stara Plurger. Stara is one of our regular contributors with her poetry and her art, in addition to being a member of ACT UP Newham. I know Stara is now starting autumn crafts in order that she can share them with us, but this is Stara painting fruit. Now, funnily enough, our Friday Art Club, which is now running, I think, for the second week or the third week even on Zoom, had a still life that involved fruit and biscuits. And I'll put that still life photo up on highlights and links in case anybody else wants to have a look at it and copy it as well, because that is another really good way to learn to draw, is to just do something like a still life. And if you're not confident to make up your own, or indeed you don't have things to make a still life with, although we could talk about next week about how you can make a still life out of anything, then have a go with this photo later. But in the meantime, this is Stara with her fruit painting.
Hi, I'm Stara, and I made a painting of my fruit. It's good. There's apples and plums and pears and blackberries. It's really good. I was happy, and I was thinking what to cook with the fruit. Bye.
Yeah, so just a little bit of audio description first. Unfortunately, for some peculiar reason, if we try and do audio description over a video that we're playing, you get a bizarre echo, which is a software issue. So we saw Stara gathering the fruit outside in the orchard and different patches. There, for regular viewers, you'll know that Stara, Hannah, and the assistant's dog were trapped in the flat with just a balcony for months and months and months, and then moved temporarily into a barn in Norfolk Wood. So that's where they are. Then we saw Stara painting outside, and what she did was she matched paint colours to the different fruits that she mentioned at the beginning, put that paint onto the paper, and then cut out the shapes of the fruit and collaged it. Then we saw the food that they made, including the pizza and the plum jam, and then they took photos of those and wrote the names on and stuck that around the edges. So you've got Stara's picture of fruit in the middle, and then you have all around the outside pictures from photographs that they've printed out of the different things that they cooked. So that was a really lovely introduction to autumn crafts. The best bit being you can eat it as well. So Stara's going to be doing more crafts for us over the course of the autumn and sharing them with us. So thank you again, Stara. We thought that was really good as well. Now it is time for something for the weekend. Who wants to start with their recommendations?
Do you mind if I go first?
No, of course not. You're the chair. We have to do whatever you want.
Not really. It's just I realised I did an oopsie, and that is I quoted from Don McLean's American Pie about going down to the levee, but the levee was dry. Then good old boys. I don't drink, and I'm not suggesting for a minute that anybody should drink. It was just without thinking I quoted from American Pie, but I should put that link up on the on the highlights page. So I can only apologise to everybody for that.
Well, I must say I didn't even notice, but thank you, Judy. I now have an earworm. Singing bye bye, Miss American Pie.
There's the mute.
The levee, but the levee was dry.
So we'll leave it there. But that's a really good link to say at 5:02, Robin will be premiering his latest song that he only wrote this morning. And again, for a bit of audio description, we've just had a visit from a tabby cat. If you go to the Together Unlocked TV pages and look at the pull down menu, you will find a page called Together's Animal Hosts. They always make random appearances. They're very seldom planned.
Watch out, she's on the move.
Yes, I can see she's on the move. She jumped on me this morning, and the next thing I knew, there was hot tea all over me. So I'm also scratched, but fortunately, the arm that's not showing against the camera, so that's a good thing. Right, let's go back to
Right. So my links for the weekends, my highlights for the weekends, and things that I'm planning to do is I was reading about the Open University free courses. As far as I'm aware, they're online, and they're quite short modules. I'm going to sign up to do it, but there's about 6 or 7 main topics, including geography, history, art history, psychology, and as I say, a whole range of subjects. I'm going to put that link up, and this weekend I'm going to explore. Well, I'm going to university.
Great. So I just wanted to ask you a couple of questions about that. I mean, I thought the Open University charged, but these are free courses.
They're free courses, which is the only reason I'm doing them.
But it's a great opportunity, I think, for anybody who's now thinking, well, I can't stay at the pub, I can't go to the theatre, I can't go and visit anybody, but maybe I fancy engaging my brain. I've always been interested in this, but never got a chance to do it at school past the age of 13. Check out the Open University modules, and as we find other free learning stuff, we'll pop that up as well. I've got several, but let's start by going over to the West Midlands first, because I think right at the moment, if I try and reach my iPad, the tabby is just going to have my hand off, because I'm only seeing her jumping on the computer by stroking her with the hand you can't see.
Yeah, I can go first. I had 2 main ones, which was we talked on Wednesday about the International Swimming League coming back, which is one of my things. What I'm dressed for. There is one that's happening today and tomorrow, on a paid one, but then there's one on Sunday and Monday. that is free on BBC Store or BBC iPlayer, that has the London-based team. So if anyone does want to kind of watch some sport or try out watching some sport, if you haven't done it before, like you said, we would recommend that because it's lights and music and quite exciting. And then the other one was that today, the first episode of season 3 of Star Trek Discovery was released. I know Drew's a big Star Trek fan, so for those of you that have seen season 1 or 2, you'll know exactly what it is. Season 3 comes out today on Netflix. For anyone that hasn't seen it, it's a Star Trek series set kind of before the original series. So I think
a prequel.
Yeah, it's a prequel, but they've got better technology. It's very strange. But it's a really enjoyable show, and so that's on Netflix. I'm going to be watching that this weekend. If anyone has Netflix or knows someone with a Netflix account they can borrow, I would recommend giving that a watch.
Okay, and over to me. So I've got a couple of things as well. The first one is it's an event that's happening tomorrow afternoon, or tomorrow morning in America, but tomorrow afternoon, 3 till 8 British summertime. And it is the Racial Awareness and Mindfulness Mini Festival. And it just looks really interesting. It kind of, reading it, they're using music, blues, speakers, practical courses. Again, I've kind of put up their link. In fact, I've copied and pasted for us to put up. But it looks kind of good because I think it's one of those things that will work from both sides. It will be celebratory from those people that it matters to. I mean, it matters to all of us. Sorry, who've experienced these and are part of the processes of challenging what goes on. But also, I think it's got a healthy reflection on trying to open the minds of those people who have them currently closed. So it actually looks really good, and I have signed up to it. It's a free event on Eventbrite, and the link is there. So hopefully, I will get to experience some of it. Certainly, my plan. And then the second one, very quickly, is me being self-healing again, and then moving on from last weekend of a weekend of moments to this weekend thinking about making your own mantra. And what I mean by that is, we all have, all day, every day, things go through our minds, and a lot of it is nothing. A lot of it you don't even notice. But at either end of the spectrum, you get happy thoughts and unhappy thoughts, shall we say? And one of the ways we're dealing with that, particularly when the unhappy thoughts seem to be taking control, is to have somewhere to go in your head that you can just kind of go, well, let's make this happy. Let's make my happy. So one I've written this morning is, even when I'm feeling blue, let my smile within beam on through. Just, and it might sound tacky or whatever it is, but if it works for you. So this is all about anyone coming up with something that actually, when they're feeling down, find some, stock words, build some little phrases like that in your own head that you can go, no, come on, Rob, smile, bring it on through, kind of thing.
Yeah, and I think it actually doesn't matter if it's a cliche. I think many people, particularly in our audience, older and disabled, who've been put into these new tiers, are going to be feeling very, very upset about the winter ahead. We don't consider it to be safe to go out. And in fact, as Julie and I were saying, well, the nightclubs are closed, the theatres are closed, the shopping centres are full of people without masks, but we usually shop online. The only other thing that you'd consider doing is going around to somebody else who's shielding. Now, in fact, we haven't done that for the simple reason that, apart from anything else, trying to get across the pavement to the car when you're very slow and you've got 2 assistance dogs and the pavement is bustling with unmasked people is really difficult. But I think nonetheless, lots of people shielding have been visiting each other. And to have that suddenly banned, I think is really, really difficult. So, yes, whether it's kind of tomorrow is another day, sometimes you just need to get through the day and think tomorrow is another day. But in the meantime, to occupy and distract you, I've got 2 film festivals. This may or may not, well, I think it probably may be a minority interest taste, but it's the Scottish Queer International Film Festival. So it's films from all over the world, but organised from Scotland. And because it's online this year, they've decided to make it entirely free. It actually has been running since the 5th of October, but I hadn't seen it before. What you do is you sign up on the website, which we'll put into highlights and links, and then you can watch different films on Vimeo. You don't have to follow what they're streaming at the time, but after Sunday, you won't be able to see those films free online again. Now, the second one, she said, clicking on, is Soundabout Live. And every Tuesday and every Saturday at 2:00, Soundabout Live is free for families or indeed households where somebody has, as they describe it, profound and multiple learning difficulties. So, and it might be profound and multiple disabilities. I'm not sure who it's for, but if you are in high need, this is a really accessible, really inclusive live music making session with professional creative practitioners, and you just need to log on through Facebook. So I'm going to put that link up. I think it sounds great. And then finally, what's probably the world's leading disability film festival, Superfest, returns to San Francisco this weekend. And again, for the first time, things are available online. Superfest is one of our festival partners. Next month, as we heard about on Monday, we have our Together 2020 Disability History Month Festival. That will be online. It's always free. But as part of that festival, we have our 3-day International Disability Film Festival. And we work with festivals across the world to promote each other's work. So Superfest have always been a partner. They've been very, very generous in putting us in contact with filmmakers and, you know, making sure we know about films that we really should know about, but from parts of the world that we might not be in touch with ourselves. So I can highly recommend that. It's the very first time I've ever been able to go to Superfest. So yet another advantage of this strange digital year. So that's my recommendations. Is there anything else any of us are intending to do anyway? Apart from certainly in Robin and I's case.
Oh, there was just one thing. I started to watch Alex Ryder on what's it?
Right.
FlexNet.
It is going to be a long winter.
And I've been really enjoying it. It's a series about a young lad who is ending up being an operative for MI6 under extremely dubious circumstances. Say again.
Spoiler.
No, it just is because I think it's part of the story. So I'm just watching his escapades and how he manages it. What I liked was it was filmed in parts of London that I recognised.
Yes, I often think these things are aimed. They claim things are for children and young people, but actually they're very enjoyable for people of all ages. And unless it's something like Dumbo, and that's too sad, isn't it?
Dumbo. No.
I've never been able to watch Dumbo.
No. Or Bambi.
Or
We
Bambi.
watched that series and we really enjoyed it. I mean, I read the books when I was, about the same age as Alex Ryder is, and kind of really enjoyed them. But the TV show, even though it's based in kind of takes from a young adult or kind of teenage children's book, it's fairly kind of dark and heavy in subject matter, but kind of how it deals with a lot of things as well. So yeah, don't get kind of put off that it's a children's show. It is quite enjoyable for adults.
Yes, I mean, as with Harry Potter, indeed.
Never occurred to me to be put off, to be honest. But thank you, Ju. It is actually, it's very, very well plotted, and the storyline is very, very tight. I think it's an excellent show.
Yeah.
And I think any kind of film or indeed TV program that shows us places either that we know but we haven't seen for quite a long time in real life, or yes, just new scenery. The more we're stuck at home, the more it's good for our minds and our brains to go all over the place. So next week on Together Unlocked, on Monday, as usual, we include an app date. And as we've said, we're going to be looking at drawing apps. I'm also interested in talking about Ring, which is a video doorbell app. So there'll be news from me testing that in my ongoing struggle to deal with delivery drivers who really don't seem to be able to read or follow simple instructions. So the Ring advert, which has somebody shouting at people at the door, doesn't seem to me to be quite the way I want to play it. So I'm going to experiment with that app and let you know how we get on. Wednesday is always our pop-up poetry day, among other things. So there's going to be lots of poetry on Wednesday. Friday, as you know, we have something for the weekend, but also dressing up to go out to stay in. We would love to see you dressed up to go out or to stay in, whether you're going out for real, you've managed to find something to do, or you're in tier 1 and you're following the rule of 6. We'd love to see your outfits and imagine what that must be like. And failing that, just dress up to do something imaginary. Last week you went to have tea on the moon with the Clangers and a top astronomist, didn't you?
I did.
So that's quite a nice thing to be dressed up
lovely.
to do as well. Or cat wrangling. The tab is
wrangling.
back. You
I'm
might be
very unhappy with the suggestion that the clangers weren't real, though.
Sorry? What?
Robin, the clangers are real, of course. Aren't they, Josh? That's right.
I love the soup dragon.
Robin.
Yes. Let's think of a little mantra for that. The clangers feel. Happy I feel. Or perhaps not. So, also on Monday, of course, it's our photography, filmmaking, and performance. So, we will be talking all things photography and filmmaking, showing you some more different things that are happening, possibly a special guest, and much, much more.
Oh, sorry. I was just saying on the filmmaking thing. I meant to say just at the end of the film, Astera's Art of the Fruit. Was that they'd used some stock sounds of countryside. There was bird noise and a bit of rustling and stuff, which obviously they were stills. So whether they recorded it or not, but it added a real authenticity to that to the film that kind of took you to that autumn situation.
Yes, and I think we can come back and please do remind me, talk a bit more about that on Monday, where we're looking at really simple photography and filmmaking techniques, which you can do on anything, including a phone. So that's it from us. Robin, before you pick up the guitar, tell us a bit more about the song that you're going to sing.
Okay. Well, you asked me if I could write something new. So I'm blaming you. And you know, sometimes, I mean, it's been quite frustrating, as we've talked about, as a creative, that having been in lockdown and theoretically having loads more time to do stuff, actually the kind of the pressures just haven't allowed the space to be creative. And I was like, I really need to do something. And my songwriting has always been an organic process in the sense of I don't just go, I'm going to write a song today about this or that. It's always been when I need to. So I haven't got thousands of songs. I've got a collection of songs that are much kind of more visceral than that. And so kind of you saying, come on, give us something new. I'd say forced me, inspired me to then try to come up with something, but quite quickly. And so I have, and it's a play on words. Right, you know, a lot of people have heard of Perpetual Motion. Well, this track is called Perpetual Emotion.
Well, I'm really pleased that you're going to share it with us when it is so raw. But of course, as we were saying earlier, it's important to understand that songs go on a journey like any other piece of art, and they don't start off the way they finish on stage and recorded. And that's something you're quite passionate about as a documenter, isn't it?
Yes.
And what Julie always says to me is that if you don't understand the process, you don't think you can do it yourself, because things just appear sort of fully formed with no
Yeah.
idea about how they came about.
We can talk about that on Monday.
Yeah,
as
we
well.
can talk
Yeah,
about
for
that a bit
sure.
more on Monday. But now Robin is ready. We'll say goodbye from the rest of us. Stay home, stay creative, and stay well.
Okay, so my guitar's falling off me. That's not a good start. And just to finish up, saying that actually writing this morning, anyone that was close to me heard the same chord about 4,000 times as I was trying to frame it. So here comes Perpetual Emotion. Locked up, locked down, 100 million wearing frowns, face masks, feeling fear, knowing that the danger's always near. Elbow bumps, distance kisses, work from home, friends we're missing, isolation for the masses, no exemption, freedom passes. Hungry children, empty fridges, broken promises, broken bridges, fevered brows, forehead searing, testing, wrecked by profiteering. Hope prevails, pandemic defeater, virus strong but love is greater, friendship bonds that last forever, humanity saved, let's work together. Let's work together. May your heart keep calling in perpetual emotion. People of the world united in the notion. Truth. Together is the future. Together is the way. Together is the promise we need every day. Hope prevails. Pandemic defeater. Virus is strong, but love is greater. Friendship bonds that last forever. Humanity saved. Let's work together. May your heart keep calling in perpetual emotion. People of the world united in the notion. Together is the future. Together is the way. Together is the promise we need every day. May your heart keep calling in perpetual emotion. People of the world, unite in the notion. Together is the future. Together is the way. Together is the promise we need every day. Thank you. Hopefully there wasn't too many mistakes that came across. Have a fabulous weekend. Goodbye from Together Unlocked TV.